Thanks for joining me today while we talk about how to tell if somebody that you know is having a panic attack and what are 4 easy things that you can do to support them. My name is Rebecca Newkirk and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So the first thing that you're going to want to be able to do is identify a panic attack. And that means that we're going to need to be able to distinguish a panic attack from just someone who has very severe anxiety. And that may look somewhat similar from the outside, but it feels really different for the person who's in the experience. So the first thing you're going to be looking for is someone who feels like they can't breathe or they look like they can't breathe. And you're going to be able to identify that by someone who's breathing really high in their chest. It's going to look kind of like that, like they're heaving and they're really trying to get in oxygen, but they're just breathing really, really fast and their chest is going up and down. And my favorite metaphor for this is if you've ever seen any of those old Western movies, this is what the damsel in distress does every single time before she faints. The second thing that you're looking for is someone who's basically non-functional. So when they're having a panic attack, they're not going to be able to answer questions, they're not going to be able to talk to you, and they're not going to be able to continue walking or going about their business. This might look like someone who's bent over, like leaning on their knees. It might be someone who's kind of leaning against a wall, but whatever they look like, whatever it is that they're doing, they're in really severe distress. One really common misconception about panic attacks is that they can last for a really long time. And actually, although we can feel very anxious for a very long time, we can't have a panic attack for a very long time. And basically a panic attack can only last for about 10 minutes before your body starts to just lose it and it can't maintain that amount of upset or that amount of stress anymore. So if someone says something to you like, "Oh my gosh, I've been having a panic attack for the last 3 days." No, they haven't. They might have been feeling really anxious or really upset for the past 3 days, but they have not been having a panic attack for the last 3 days. Okay, so now that we know how to identify a panic attack by somebody who's hyperventilating, somebody who's really non-functional, and somebody who can't talk, let's talk about a few things that you can do to support that person in calming down. Number 1, and possibly the most important thing that you're going to do, is stay calm. It's really, really stressful and it's really, really scary to see somebody who's in that amount of distress. However, it's incredibly important that we as people who are trying to help this person get through the moment are able to maintain our breathing. It's really important that we're able to be a stable base for that person to rely on. And if we start to panic, then they're going to panic even more, and that's not very helpful. The second most important thing that you can do to support someone in front of you who's having a panic attack is try to get eye contact. If they're connected to you, especially if they're connected to you while you're calm, that's going to make a huge difference, and that means that you can start to help with breathing cues. So what do I mean by breathing cues? This is the third most important thing that you can do to support someone who's having a panic attack in front of you. Once you've been able to stay calm, you've been able to gain eye contact, the third thing that you're going to do is try to support them from breathing up in their chest, like we talked about, and hyperventilating, and you want them to be breathing down into their belly. So the best way to support them in doing this is for you to start, while you maintain eye contact, for you to start breathing into your belly. Take really, really deep breaths in through your nose, and exhale out through your mouth. So one really important thing when you're doing this breathing and you're maintaining the eye contact with them is that you want the exhale actually to be longer than the inhale. So you're asking them to inhale through their nose, you want them to exhale out their mouth, you want them to focus on pushing their belly button out and letting their belly button collapse back into their spine when they're exhaling, and you want the exhale to be extra long. If you need to calm down and you want your heart rate to get lower and you want to be able to feel calmer and safer, then you really want to focus on the exhale, making it really long and really deep. Ever feel like you just don't know what to say in times of crisis? Like this person is really like losing it in front of you. They're panicking and you've done these 3 things, but you just really don't know what to say? Well, I've got you covered. Number 4 is, what do you say to someone who's having a panic attack? This is the last skill. So although it's really easy to say things like, "It's gonna be okay," or "It's fine," or "Calm down," because that's what we really need them to do and that's what's going to be the best thing for them in that moment, we really don't want to say those things. For one thing, we don't really know if it's going to be okay. We don't know what they're panicking about, and we don't know what's going on in their lives, so we don't want to make any false promises. The other issue with this is that it can sound kind of dismissive. It can feel like we're telling them to just, you know what, you need to stop because I don't want to deal with your feelings right now. And I don't know if you've ever tried to tell someone who's angry that they need to calm down, but it doesn't work. So then what do you say? Some of the best things to say for someone who's really panicking and really losing it in the moment is, "You're not alone. I'm right here with you. I'm not going anywhere, right? And these are the best things to say because, first of all, it's true. And second, it helps the person feel really connected to somebody, connected to you, so that they don't feel like they have to go through this really, really scary thing all by themselves. And it actually makes a really big difference. So there you have it. We talked about how to identify a panic attack or someone who's having a panic attack in front of us, and 4 things that we can do to support them through that experience. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, feel free to leave a question in the comments. Or if you have any things to add, any additions, or things that you would like for someone around you to do when you're having a panic attack, or even something that you've tried with your loved ones when they're having a panic attack that seem to work really well, drop those in the comments as well. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.